All right. That one should be working now. All right, I'm going to post this to Instagram, so I will be off for just one moment here on my other browser. Oh my goodness. Technology is amazing and super annoying sometimes. Photos. I'm going to do... Actually, we're going to text this to myself and then we'll come back. One moment. Easier to do it from my actual phone. Yeah, I know. So what ended up happening is my phone was like, hey, I will take point and I will actually do the live stream. I'm like, perfect. That's obviously not what happened. So, hi, Leah. I just need to copy this and we're going to actually post it to Instagram since it's a new link. All right. Good thing I actually started this earlier than I wanted to, just to get kinks worked out. Live link. But there's always something new. I need to figure out how to actually do multi-stream stuff. That. All right, and then let's actually email this to the couple of people that were waiting to actually see their orders cut. All right. Because it isn't technology if there isn't problems. There we go. I was being so good getting this all set up beforehand and everything. All right, there we go. At least there's sound now. We'll bring this up and over, and I will set you up so you can actually see my my cutting table here. So we've actually moved the cutting table around, and we're now in what was supposed to end up being the guest bedroom in the basement, but that's not how it worked out. We said we were going to do it here originally, and then we decided we didn't actually end up having enough guests to warrant an actual guest bedroom. All right, now Instagram is being a jerk. All right, there we go. No, still not posting. All right, well, hopefully people find us. I'm going to set this up so that you can actually see the desk, because we're fancy sometimes. I swear there's always some kind of flailing as soon as I start to do some sort of video stuff. I love the virtual events, but there's always something that happened that was like, okay, now you need to do something different. There. All right. So we've got 2 pick your own orders today. So we've got a bunch of large box bags and a bunch of small box bags. We're going to start with the bigger order, and then the next one we're going to do is apparently that one didn't like it. Sorry, Leah. Oh, I see what the difference was here. Complete flailing. One more time here with oomph. There we go. Sweet. Well, you get to see me flail around for a little bit trying to figure this out. Oh my goodness. All right. Now I do need to update Instagram because that would be a smart idea. Yeah, TikTok lets you do a little bit longer videos, which has been helpful and annoying at the same time because they can't remain the same across all platforms. Um, but I don't know anymore. Um, it's an interesting place. I like doing the video. I used to do it too, but I actually think I prefer how it is now versus how it was back when I was like properly YouTube, like podcasting, I guess would be the better description. I don't even know what to call it anymore right now because it's like, okay, well, YouTube or Instagram is definitely having a moment. We'll just set this back up and record the video. But I'm realizing I do really want to do like yes. TikTok's a bit scary. TikTok is scarier as a consumer than it is as an actual creator in some ways. Sorry, I'm going to turn you back around here so you can actually see the cutting table. But this is also why I want to get two cameras set up, is so that then I get this like overview instead of just by the side here. Anyway, there is a cat here somewhere. He's super happy because there's a bunch of fabric on the floor right now because I just did all the photos, the wholesale photos for and Sherry, if that's you, this is actually your order right now. I'm going to cut it first because it's all large box bags. You made some excellent selections. Leah will agree because she actually does have this fabric in another bag right now. Anyway, we're down in the basement and in what was intended to be the guest bedroom. But because we don't have guests that stay very often, because most of our friends are allergic to cats, we moved my cutting table in here the other day so that I can kind of shut out. Well, I can shut out the kids and the cats, and then my fabric shelves are like literally right here. They're across. I'm facing them. Yes, the pretty Patso fabric. So yeah, so I can shut the cats out of here. They're not like always on the fabric that I leave on the table. And this is with the intention of me actually coming in here, cutting what I need to cut, and then putting the fabric back on the shelves. Now, if that actually is how this works, I don't know. We just moved this around last week. But I will try my best. Obviously, we're doing Mid-City Prep coming up here. So probably what I am going to do is I will cut a few extra bags out of these while I've got the fabrics out anyway. That one's a heavy fabric, so I'll cut it afterwards. So we'll cut 3. Yeah, just making sure I've got your proper fabrics here, Sherry. I love these guys. They are so cute. So I'm glad that someone else is going to enjoy them as well. The colors on this one are just really, really good because there's a few options in the macaron critters. All right. And then I'm just going to double check on here. Yeah, we're good. Now I do actually have a fabric cutter, but it is in a mood right now, so I need to actually take it to the repair people. But finding repair people for that sort of like, I don't even know how I would look for that right now. It's not a sewing machine repair, and honestly, sewing machine repair is a complete and utter ripoff as it is. The industrial head for the Juki is like, hi cat. Shh. Shh, we don't talk about Knit City being that close right now. My eldest actually has summer camp this summer, and get your fluffy tail out of here. And it's going to be really good for actually prepping. All right. And then I need to add the handle on. So this is basically just going to be stream of consciousness because I talk to myself a lot, especially when I'm alone. Hey, out of here. But yeah, so my eldest is going to have summer camps. Our youngest is going to be home with me. I don't like that saying much. They're only a year apart. By the way, he is also as tall as her now, which is insane. And good, because it means that when we go to Disney World next time, they will be able to do so many of the rides that we're not going to have to sit much out. That is a good indication. I need to change my blade. All right. So this is just going to be the exterior cutting today, because typically what I do is I batch cut everything that I need to cut, and then I go through and I batch cut the interiors separately from the exteriors after I figure out, like, so based on these 4, they're all probably going to be lined with white fabric sherry, just because then it's really easy to see your stuff in the bag. And then basically I only have to do 2 rounds of cutting essentially, and then they get interfaced as well with some stabilizer so that they are actually they keep their shape a little bit better. Now those are the same size handles as I will use for the small box bags, so we might actually cut some small box bags out of these fabrics while I have them out. As I said, again, Knit City prep is happening, kind of. He is a pest most days. But he really does like hanging out in the room. This is why this is a cat-friendly studio. Like, there is no way I could keep them out of these spaces with me. And I don't really want to, unfortunately, simply because it is nice company. This is something that Remy always used to do, and so he's taken his spot instead. All right, so there is all, this will become all large box bags. So I really like these pick your owns right now because A, it's really nice to see what people are enjoying. And there's handles for all of them. And it also helps me get over the analysis paralysis for what should I actually cut. That ends up happening. All right, we're just going to pitch that over the side for now, and I'll fold it up afterwards. Yeah, they're super therapeutic until they're not. All right, this one reminds me a lot of Remy and Flynn as well, especially this cat right here. Good choices, Sherry. I know the rose-colored one is absolutely gorgeous with the floral wreaths. I actually have this on an aqua as well, and it is spectacular. And it is something that I'll be cutting to bring to Knit City as well. So today was technically supposed to be the fabric preview from Kyoto, but I didn't get the video edited. So we've got a live instead. I got the fabric catalog done for the wholesalers instead. So I don't know. It's all important, and it feels like it needs to be done. Yep. Trust me, there was a lot of fabric in May. So half the time I end up having to pay GST on my fabric coming back to Canada, and that is fine because realistically, I know I'm supposed to pay GST on it, and it's 5%. whoop-de-doo, like in November, it was $125. I bought back $2,500 worth of fabric. Whatever. It's part of doing business. And because I make so little right now, most of the time, the majority of it comes back to me anyway, so it's not a big deal. Anyway, this trip, but I get a different story every single time I go and actually purchase fabric in Japan. So like, yeah, I'm registered for GST, blah, blah, blah. Supposed to pay it. I can pay it. I don't mind. I even have the HS code so that we know what I'm paying for. But every single time I get a different answer. So this time, like, there's a personal exemption amount. And then I go through and I say that I have commercial goods. No big deal. I was over the hand carry amount. I had about $3,500 worth of fabric this time, plus charms from Day Day House. And got told by the CBS agent, the customs agent this time, that the amount should actually go under my personal exemption line. And I'm like, but it's not a personal exemption. It's a business expense. It's commercial goods. So it's like every single time I've gotten actually a different answer about what I'm supposed to do. This time though, he was like, he just didn't want to deal with me. So I didn't have to even pay GST on my freaking fabric, which it's like, all right, I'll take it. If I don't have to go down and process it in Vancouver Airport, I will take that. One time I had it that it was like, well, you'll have to go across to the commercial services building. Another time it's like, well, whatever. It's just different, I guess, different agents every time. So yeah. Although I think the best story is actually still we were also over our personal exemption limit, so that's fine, whatever. It's $1,000. And like we're allowed the 800 when you're coming back, right? After 2 weeks. No big deal, because it's like, what are they gonna do? Charge you $10 on your like $200 over? Whoop-de-doo. Anyway, the best story I still have is when Dallas and I went for the first time. We went to a cat cafe, and they had those like churu, and you couldn't get churu in Canada yet. So what do? You buy your cat's churu in Japan. But that means that you aren't bringing a meat product back. So we declared the meat product, because you're in more trouble if you don't than if you do. They'll deal with it, right? Or what are they going to do? Throw it out. Ooh, wow. Oh yeah, those are going to get made too. Sherry, this is absolutely spectacular, and I'm so excited that you got it, because I've been wanting to work with this fabric. So there's there's your large box bags, all cut, and then they'll be lined with. Sorry, I will finish the Dallas story afterwards. But they'll be lined with this nice white fabric. It's got a little bit of like tone on tone, and it just will make it pop when you open it up. So, and then this will be paired, I think, with like a nice charcoal zipper, same as the, all the cats are there. Cats are back in town. And then probably the same with the macaron cats. And then a black zipper for your tuxedo. And then I've got probably a black zipper for the geisha, the geiko as well. So, all right. So back to the story about Dallas and the CBS agent when we were coming home. So it was a long trip. We were there for 26 days. Dallas doesn't speak any Japanese. He definitely didn't speak any Japanese at that point. And he went into this trip thinking that they spoke more English than they did. And they actually speak quite a bit more now. And post-pandemic, they have a lot less foreigner panic. So when I would go before, if I couldn't understand them, they would kind of panic about the fact that I didn't understand them, simply because they thought that I needed them to speak Japanese. But what I needed them to do was just slow down and hand gesture and use a kindergarten or lower level of vocabulary. Anyway, Dallas didn't speak much on this trip. We ended up with churros because we were like, okay, we got to bring these meat tubes back for the cats. And all right. Sorry, I'll show this fabric off and then I will continue that story again. Super cute. This is for Elizabeth's order. And there are cats on top of these vending machines at some point. So I know she's asked for a cat. There we go. there's one. So it's like retro food vending machines from Japan. Just gonna make sure that that's the right background color. So we went, did the tutors, brought them back, no big deal. But Dallas said, okay, I will talk at customs. I'm like, fine, that's fine. Go for it. And because we declared that we have meat, of course, you get more questioning. And we were significantly over our duty free at that point, which, whatever, no big deal. Again, what are they going to do? Charge you, I think we were $1,300. So in that case, they're going to charge you like $25 on your stuff that's over top of the duty free. But CBS agent, the customs agent, looks at our form and he's like, what kind of meat do you have? And we said, Dallas mumbled because of course he hadn't talked for a month, natural mumbler. And that we had meat for our cats. That's what it was, I think is what he said. And this customs agent gave us this most horrified look. I've never seen anything like it since or before. And he asked where we came from. We're like, Japan. And he looked absolutely disgusted. But he hands our card back and goes, welcome back to Canada. So defeated. And on our customs card, in big capital letters, big fat Sharpie, was written, cat meat. So this poor CBS the customs agent thought we were actually bringing cat meat back in from Japan. This is the other fabric for Elizabeth. Cat crackers. Oh yeah. Oh my God. Right. So we're pretty sure that this guy probably had like 6 to a dozen cats, and just like we absolutely horrified him that we were bringing cat meat back into Canada. So after we get this customs form back, of course, you have to go collect your luggage and go through the second layer of customs. And after you've picked your baggage up from international flights, the guy there takes a sip of his Tim's, sets it down on the counter. Yeah, I know. I would be too. And at this point, I told Dallas, I'm like, I will talk for us because obviously there's miscommunication going on. just a little tiny bit. And the very nice customs agent looks at me and he goes, what do you have? And I'm like, it's tuna for our cats. And he's like, oh my God, you people, go through. So we not only got our cat meat through, we also ended up getting our duty-free, completely duty-free. All right. Now, there is a cat right there, and there's a cat right there, so we're set. So these are all small box bags. I'm going to cut them. And yeah, I would be so mad about it too, but it's one of those stories where it's like, oh my God, you're never going to live this down and I'm sure the custom agent is never going to forget us either. It's like, he's going to have a story about how these people came back from Japan and they brought cat meat with them, and like, how could they? Ugh. So that's the story of how I now also have to do customs for us because Dallas is a natural mumbler. And it was just a particularly bad case because it's like he hadn't really spoken except to me for like 26 days. And then there's that whole thing of like you're going through customs and it's kind of nerve-wracking and all of that too. So it's just funny. All right. So these for Elizabeth are small box bags. So she got I guess I didn't really show you the first one. Just the one on the bottom, of course. I'll show it to you after I cut it, and then I don't mess anything up right now. So Sherry, if you're still here, have you been to any fiber markets recently? Leah and I are talking about Knit City. It's a big fiber market in Vancouver, British Columbia. Happens at the end of September. But I think based on your address, that's a little bit of a travel for you. So do you have anything local? Or have you been staying home? Yeah. I know that Vogue has been doing some of the virtual events as well, but is there anyone else? Because I know Stitches, when they've done a very poor job of going belly up. But are there any other events that have kind of stuck around? I know Yuriko does one, or she was doing one called Fiber Love Affair. She's also in Vancouver. With the kids, it's just been super difficult to do events, especially virtual events. I don't know why. So I haven't really kept up in the community for a bit. Ooh, India Entangled virtual. That would be cool. That's the one that happens around Rhinebeck, is that right? I did enjoy doing Vogue when I actually did them. Although I am thinking that what I'm going to do is probably do a whole recording for and post it to the YouTube channel because I think that's more equitable in some ways. Hi, Cat. Okay, that's a nice good strip. Yeah, since I'm trying to grow my customer base, I've been doing more events. I actually had a really good one in Calgary recently for it's the New Japanese Canadian Association, and they did a kimono market, and that was really nice. And I've heard that they've got a November event that's really good too. So as a vendor, some of these different ones are nice. I don't typically end up attending shows that I'm not vending at. Actually, I've done 2 this year, but one was in part because I actually did have a pickup to do there and a drop off as well. Okay, oh sorry. So this is the frog fabric. This was the one that was underneath. This one's really fun because it's actually textured, so it's got like that slubby, oh my goodness, slubby like warp and weft. So there's frogs, the vending machines, and the cat crackers. I just want to get these cut. Yeah, no, that's fair. All right, so the next step for all of these is going to be lining. As I said, that's kind of the boring part, so I'm not going to be doing it on camera, or at least not on a live stream. I will do it on camera, but it'll be the recording like the phone is doing right here, right now. Yeah, I'm trying to find more that are also in Calgary. So actually, there's a couple that I'm going to sign up for next year. There is one in Calgary called Odafest. It's a big like anime and it's not quite like Comic Expo, but similar, just more focused into the anime. And I figured that would be a really good fit because the comic one here is not really suited to my business because it's like I don't have a bunch of geek fabrics, but Odafest, which is the anime one, will be a lot more like suited in some ways just because of the Japanese fabrics. All right, this one is for Bad Anna's in Vancouver. I'll go through and I'll actually show you the fabrics and then we'll go into the cutting just because that'll be easier. Paula went a bit nuts with her selections and I love it. I fully enable and support these decisions. I just hope I have enough fabric of everything. All right, so we have Sassy Cat and Moons on black. Yes. Did you end up running into the woman who did the automaton Sophie from Howl's Moving Castle? That's it. I have some embroidery to do, and honestly, again, I haven't even really knit this past year, and so it's just trying to find the time, and the mental capacity for it is the other big thing. Oh yeah. So these guys are like blue outlined sheep on gray. And this is a cotton linen blend, I think. These ones are for sure. So it's like a charcoal outline on beige. And then we've got this guy who is like a dark blue outline on blue. And then this is micro cats in a micro forest. Citrus on navy and pink. And this one's really cool too because again it's that Dobby. I'm also realizing that I need a light over here if I'm going to continue to do it this way. So again, that slubby warp and weft. Now some of these haven't been posted for the pick your own because I knew Paula was buying them, and so I wouldn't end up having enough fabric. Which one is amazing? The micro cats? Because yes, the micro cats is friggin' fantastic. Woodline bunnies, we got some natural, we got some sage, and we got some navy. Yeah. We have banana cats, which is hilarious. I absolutely love these guys. It's just like just enough quirkiness, and it's not really, you don't see the cats until you actually look at it, which is awesome. We got Maneki Neko, which is Lucky Cats. Again, it's on off-white, and that like Dobby, which actually looks like it's showing up pretty good. Well, see, so that is one benefit to these people being wholesalers is they actually get access to the catalog before anyone else. And the pick your own, I just started because I was running out of room on the shelves. It's actually quite a bit to manage via inventory because there's not a lot of systems that aren't manual for fabric, unfortunately. But, you know, it'll work. So that's why there's like one of each item online right now. Sushi cats on natural. I do have this coming in red and forest green as well. Then we've got classy. We've got a classy cat. We've got bees and strawberries. And these guys are itty bitty. Super popular the first time I got it. So I got more in November. We've got another Dobby. This is Mount Fuji on like sand. Super cute. Yeah, seriously, right? Not that I'm monetized at this point. So, you know, we're safe for now. This is the version like Sherry had, but it's actually on a blue, like a bright blue instead of red. Just like, dude, you don't have to do that here. The critter macarons on gray. Love this one. I like the gray on the back of this because it's like a warm, not charcoal, but it's not light gray either. It's going to be really hard to get. She'll buy the blue scraps for me. All right. I will set them aside once I get them cut. And then she is going to demolish my penguin stash. So I don't know if any of these will be available afterwards. But we've got penguins with black dots, and I love their neck decorations. Hey, go for it. I have so many scraps. It's not even funny. So if you need scraps, just let me know. Sherry, same thing for you. If you ever need scraps, let me know. I love their necks. That's actually what pulled me to these fabrics first. And then these are all short fabrics. So they are what's going to be available. Words. Paula will also be posting these online. I'm sure she usually does. I'm hoping to have them done in about 8 weeks. And then these guys. And the thing about Japan is their like color sense is so different from North America, but they do it so well. It's not even funny. All right. Yeah, over there. All right, so we're going to start with the sassy cats because that's what's on the list here. So Paula is actually getting 3 different shapes. She's getting a kato, which is the drawstring bag. She's getting large box bags, and she's getting triangle pouches. Now, because she requested triangle pouches, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut knot bags because the triangle pouches are actually made from the offcuts of the knot bags. You, sir, are going to need a bed in here, aren't you? Okay. You need to scoot a little bit. By the way, if you end up with any cat fur on your fabric, it is him. It was really bad when we had Remy because it was like we had an orange cat, we had a black cat, and then we had a gray cat. And Yeah, you can recognize his fur. But it was just like between 3 cats, it's like you couldn't win. There was nothing that didn't show, like, have visible cat fur. Anyway, now that he's out of the way, kinda. Oh my goodness. That is going to need a clip. I'm gonna stick it under my laptop. Sorry, guys. Anyway, so we're gonna cut knot bags because the triangle pouches are offcuts from knot bags instead of wasting it, and I don't really feel like cutting triangle pouches from full yardage. It screws up my cost of goods sold. Gives it a human touch. It gives it a cat touch. Oh, I just realized I don't actually. Oh, right. No, we're good. Okay, yeah. Sorry. All right, so knot bags. So to get the actual triangle pouch, what I end up doing is, as long as I cut it with the fold on a certain side, I can show you, on a certain side, then all of this fabric actually becomes multiple different fabrics or products, and that's what I do. I was noticing that I was getting a lot of scraps from the knot bags, and so what ended up happening is this. Now what I'll do is, right now, I'll just cut the I'll cut the actual thing, and then I will cut the actual bag out later. There we go. Knot bags are also super fun and they're super easy to make, which I really like and appreciate. They don't have any interfacing in them. They're just super soft, easy go bags. Okay, and then the only thing I have to pay attention to is there's the selvage on here. I don't typically cut the selvage. It gets sewn in just because it's usually extra fabric. Square up. Yeah, so the there are three. There's 2 main products made from the knot bag cutoffs. So the first product was triangle pouches, and then the second product was cake cozies. And then the third product that I've recently been doing has been wristlets. Now, this fabric must be a bit smaller, so the triangle pouch will actually be cut this way. And then we'll have enough for a cake cozy here on this side, I think. Will I? Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Okay, we're good. Just enough. Actually, I should have known that given the measurements of this. But anyway. So the triangle pouch, the cake cozy, and then if there is a little bit wider fabric, I actually end up being able to get a wristlet out of it too with the key fob like attachment at the top. All right, so there's those 2 for Paula. And then the really cool thing that I figured out this time is that the large box bag and the Kato are basically the same dimensions. So I just do 1 cut for the large box bag and the Kato, and then I figure out the rest later. All right. So yeah, so the triangle pouches have been super cool, same as the cake cozies. I try to use as much of my fabric as is possible, for obvious reasons. One of them being that getting to Japan was very difficult the past few years. So using what I had was super important, and using what I have is super important from an ecological standpoint as well. All right. Up. We'll do the large box bag cut, and then we'll do. Actually, let's just line it up so that we can do the handle cut at the same time. As you can tell, I'm super high tech here. I do have pattern weights somewhere, but again, because we've just moved, I haven't actually figured out what else I need to move into this room, or if I need to change any storage situations. I definitely need to figure out a way to store my rotary cutter and ruler, but that takes time and mental energy, which is, they're both in short supply right now. All right. So now what ends up happening is there'll be one handle cut out of this, which actually means I can just do this for now. Really should just cut a small box bag out of this right now too, since it's out. But I will think about that later. Then the kato cuts come out of the other side of the large box bag cut. Selvage edge with the Coca rating and all the color tests and everything like that. So this side will actually go to be the box bag, because then what ends up happening is that the offcuts of it from the large box bag cut for the kato end up becoming the actual drawstring. Now, actually, in this case, it may not, just because it was a bit skinnier of a fabric. Yeah, no, it's really cool to be able to find a use for as much as possible, at least. So, okay, that was the extra cut. This is part of why I wanted the fabric in this room, is because then it's like, then all those little bits can go back together. Yeah, so in this case, I think this will end up, so now I'm down. This is what ends up starting to become the difficult part, is what do you do with the rest of this? So in this case, it's a fairly small print, so probably I'll definitely cut some small box bags from it. And then I think what I'll do is I'll also cut a large box bag from this. Or not large box bag, the other one, the big bag. Because it would be really nice fabric for that. I also really like the stars on this one because they shimmer. Japanese shimmer, for whatever reason, just is absolutely spectacular. All right, I'm going to just lay that aside for now. And sorry, I'm sniffling right now. The kids are still giving... I swear I can count on one hand how many times we haven't been sick since January, because the kids started out of house childcare. It's just been one thing after another. All right, I need a pen to mark off that I cut those. We're good, we're good, we're good. All right, and then she wants a kato and a large box bag of these guys. And then for the sheep, I'm going to also cut, I know for sure I'm cutting big bags out of this because it should be popular. And these sheep are really large, right? So like, they're quite large. So they're not going to work very well for, actually, will they work well for small box bags? It's a triangle pouch. They're a little bit too large for triangle pouches. Yeah, they would be good for small box bags. So maybe I'll just go through and cut all of them right now. I don't know why I didn't do that with the sassy cats, but you know. Okay. Now, typically I do line up more than one at a time. But apparently, well, the other fabrics are thicker on these ones though, so I don't want to overwhelm my rotary blade too much because we're getting to the end of its life. Thanks for joining me, Leah. I really appreciate you guys keeping me on track. And hopefully you can join me again soon. All right. And Sherry, please feel free to chat, and then I will answer any questions you have as I'm cutting, or just kind of stream of consciousness as I go here. So, although if there's anything you kind of want me to specifically stream of consciousness on, that's probably a good one to do. I will say that it was really awesome being able to do 2 trips so close back to back, because what ended up happening is that I was actually able to restock on some of the fabrics that were super popular between November and now, which is kind of insane considering that like it was only 6 months. So like stuff like the sushi cat, which I knew like I should have gotten more. I knew it would be popular, but sometimes it's just like, part of it is also fabric, like space in the luggage, obviously, because that is the biggest constraint. Because I'm not going to be shipping them, because the cost of bringing it in the luggage is better than shipping it. What do you have for fabrics? 1 sec. So the one thing is, let's see here. That's a different order. Yes, I can do cake cozies in all of these except for the floral wreath because the weight of this fabric is too heavy. So if you want those, then I can actually just put them on the list. Let's see if the tuxedo cat has enough to make a knot bag. So that would help direct my cutting in the next few days, which would be good as well. Let's see here. Do knot bag. Yes, we have enough to do that. I can do them on all of them except for the floral wreath if you'd like. Maybe send me an email in response to just even one of, like, as you did before, to let me know the link didn't work, and then we can add them on. And you can let me know which ones you want, if you want all 4 or if you'd like different, like, just select ones. But that would also direct me on how I would end up cutting this then, which is not the worst thing. All right, so where was I here? We're in large box bags for the sheep. Just fill that up for now. And we're going to do the rest of the cutting for this guy. So you are going to become big bags. Sweet. Yeah, and then that just gives me a good reminder to actually do it. Since YouTube should have a live chat replay, but it's just hard to keep track of, basically. Wait, you won a cake cozy from me last year, didn't you? Last year? Yeah, that would have been one of the last BKLs that I did, right? Okay, big bag, big bag. Make sure that's mostly straight. This one's going to be fun as a big bag. That's such a good setup. Okay, sweet. Okay. I was like, I'm pretty sure I saw an email from you the other day because I was clearing an old email and we were discussing stuff. So, sweet. I really do need to do some more of the virtual events because they were fun and it was really awesome to be able to bring my products to a different audience than I would be able to do in person, because obviously it's very restrictive having to ship across country to actually do these events. Knit City, the only way I do get out to it is because I vend at it. And right now, I need to be spending my money on other things. So now with these guys, they get cut down to big bag size, and then I'll probably, depending on what I feel like doing, I've started doing scrunchies, which is really fun. They're also really good size for wristlets, or for, these actually would also become good cake cozies. Although I would be able to do a lot more with it if I cut it differently. So like a notions pouch actually out of this would be really cute. And that's probably what I'm going to end up doing with it. Just because of the size. You would end up losing a lot of it to the scrunchie simply because of the fold up on it. All right, so there's a big bag. That is not for Paula. That is for Knit City stock. So that was large box bags and the handles. So that's hers. This was the big bag for me. I need to figure out a bin system here. And then we're going to also do small box bags because then I can use up the fabric that I cut for handles. So we've already got the handles cut for this. We're just going to square up the fabric here. the nice thing is that actually makes 2 small box bags, and that is going to look absolutely spectacular. It's exciting. So if you fold it up like that. Awesome. Thanks for joining me, Sherry. I will make sure you're signed up to the newsletter because I will be posting when I actually end up doing these lives to the newsletter the most frequently, just because that's the easiest way to communicate it. But I hope you have a fantastic day. And thanks for joining me. And thank you for the order. I really do appreciate it. It does actually help clear out my shelves so that we can continue to go buy fabric. Okay. since become a wallet and some purses. Oh yeah, it is way easier than the other direction. Okay, so it tells me like this you go. Hmm. Well, there it is. That's gonna need some tape. Oh, let's go get some tape. Okay. All right, so I obviously got that cut fixed up. Now, when I have offcuts like this, I'll figure something out to do with them. This might actually become more triangle pouches. It might become notions pouches. Might become a purse. Yeah, still quite large enough for some things, and it's too large to just throw out. So this is the sort of thing that I get left with, and then that is where my creativity has to come in, and we figure it out. There we go. Then this large piece, I'll figure out what I'm going to do with later. It's large enough, obviously, to make quite a bit out of. I just don't feel like cutting it right now because I've got other stuff to cut. I do think most of my fabric that will be coming to Knit City this year will end up being the stuff from November, just simply because the processing time on getting the other things done is going to be quite a bit. All right, now we need to do microcat and forced engraving. Come here, my pretty. This one. Yeah. All right, and I think we're gonna go until about an hour and a half on the stream, so another 20 minutes or so. About 2:30, and then I'm going to head out because I need a coffee. Our caffeination time has hit, so. And that's basically what this business runs on, is caffeination and caffeination and caffeination. All right. Work our magic with the large box bag, and then the handle, like this, like that. Sweet, and this is going to make such a good knot bag. Oh my goodness. Yep, just enough fabric. Sweet. I just updated the fabric catalog, so I hope I took it out of it. Just double check it out and make sure I didn't post it to the website too. So now in this case too, where I have extra fabric from the handles that aren't going to get used, I actually end up making the notions pouches and the needle stashers. They were the OG scrap buster projects. All right. Come here, my pretty. You are very pretty. It's cotton linen blend too, so it's got a really nice hand to it. And then you, look at that. Oh my goodness, that's going to be absolutely spectacular. All right, that's the knot bag. And then we'll just push this up. So there's the edge. And then this one is going to become some wristlets. Because this is, I think it can become some wristlets. It might be a little bit too skinny still. Oh well. We'll deal with it. Oh yeah. No, there's portions of it that are wide enough. Let's see here, actually. Make it large enough. Scoot. Scoot, scoot, scoot. And all right, and then that will become wristlets. It's not the right texture for scrunchies, so it will not become scrunchies. It's also not wide enough for scrunchies. And we'll get this lined up with this bottom selvage. It's the only time I really worry about the selvage because I end up sewing into it on the knot bags. And that doesn't work. Make sure that you're good in here. You are more than good. I wonder why that first fabric that we cut, the Sassy Cats, wasn't good. I don't get it. It's weird. Lined up, lined up. But you're not straight. There we go. Lined up. Sweet. And there's the triangle pouch. Oh, look at that fabric. Look at this fabric. It's so cute. I love it. I wish I'd been able to find more of it when I was in Japan. But, you know, win some, lose some. I won a lot. There were so many good fabrics in me. It was ridiculous. All right, done, done, done. Now we gotta do the citruses. Oh, right there on the back. Okay. Oh my goodness, I definitely need that coffee. this is surprisingly directional. All right, the raindrops are all going one direction. I thought that it was a multi-directional print. It is not. We will make sure that we cut it so that it is proper. Can you imagine? Cut all of these, sew them all up, and then realize that it was a directional print. Because it doesn't look like it's not super directional when you lay it out. Ugh. I've definitely done that though. I got to the end of a bag with sloths on it, and it turned out that I had sewn it so that the sloths were completely upside down. That was fun. But especially on a wholesale order, that's not something you want happening. What is this? Okay, dust. Clean that up. This is such a good pink. Like, I am a pink person, but this is such a good pink. And you wouldn't expect it with the orange either, because actually, yes. Okay, this is interesting. So if you actually look at the two of them, so the navy, the orange is actually darker, and the yellow is actually more golden. And then on here, the yellow is more lemon, and the orange is almost more of a I don't know. It's still an orange color, but it's a light orange color versus the darker orange color. So, you know, that's cool though. I didn't notice that when I was buying them. All right. Large box bag. And then I need to actually, yeah, that's fine. Line you up. Just a tiny bit. There we go. There. All right. This will make amazing small box bags. I'm excited. There. Oh, there's a lump. There we go. Hi, if you're just joining me, I am currently cutting fabrics for a wholesale order for Bad Anna's in Vancouver, British Columbia. If this is not Paula, make project bags from hand-selected Japanese fabrics. And I'm just doing the citrus cuts right now. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. I am only going to be here for about another 11 minutes. I have hit my afternoon coffee time, and I don't know what it is, but the energy is waning right now. So we're going to try and finish up a few more cuts here on camera, and then I'm going to head upstairs and make myself a coffee. Hey, Andrea. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm going towards. It's like, I don't know. It's like pale, but it's really good. Like, it's really well done. It's like if a grapefruit was an orange. I don't know, but this is like super lemon yellow, which I really like. And then I do really like these colors on like the this like gold is so good, and the lemon on the navy. All right, there's the box bag and the kato cut. I'm realizing, so this is a new setup, and I'm realizing that I actually need some lights at the back table here just so that I can actually show the colors a little bit better. Okay, we need triangle pouches. So that means we need knot bags. And then I need to decide what I'm going to actually do with the rest of this fabric, because it is too good not to cut right now. All right, there's a can. lost my. Here, I'm going to take the mic off for just a moment. There, cutting guide's back. Hi. Yes, I know. I love you too. You are very much taking your job as quality control inspector seriously today, hey? All right. Dude. I swear, it's not the kids, it's the cats. No, but people can't see around your magnificent fluffy floof. Okay, all you're showing off is your fluffy britches. I guess that's acceptable. All right. There and there. Good, and then for some reason one of the first fabrics I cut didn't end up actually having enough to cut the triangle pouch from. So it must have like had a shorter selvage or something like that. Like it's like just enough sort of thing. Yeah, this one's going to be just enough too. Weird. What has been happening to the fabrics? It's like a ½ inch too short. Ugh, just barely. Okay, well, I guess it's a tight cut. It's always been a tight cut, so maybe I need to just adjust my triangle pouches by like a ½ inch for measurements. Go, go, nope, yes, yes, there. So if you haven't encountered them before, then knot bags get cut, and then the triangle pouches and a couple other products actually come from the offcuts from the knot bag. So in the case of what I was just talking about, the triangle pouch does, and then also cake cozies come from knot bag offcuts, and also the those other things, wristlets, come from it as well. I had to be really creative. Obviously, there was not a lot of traveling to Japan in the last few years. So I got really creative about using up my stuff. I also like to use up my stuff because for obvious reasons, it's a lot better to use what you have versus buying new, and that's part of it. One of the first original Scrapbuster projects was actually when I cut the large and small box bags, they end up with handles. And sometimes not all those handles get used up into bags because I forget or I lose it or whatever. I end up with like a certain cut. So actually that's where I first started making the needle pouches and needle stash, notions pouches and needle stashes from the cuts that I didn't use for handles for box bags. All right, I think this needs to become a big bag. Yeah, we need a big bag out of this, and we need small box bags because, hello, it is spectacular. It is so summery. It's such a good fabric for right now. Okay. Go. All right, so we're gonna cut this one. Then we're gonna cut one more where it's just one cut instead of multiple cuts, and then I will head for coffee. Okay, there we go. Now we are here. Which means that and that make that, which we're good. Okay, we got just enough for a big bag. Sorry, math. I swear, my kids ate my brain cells, and I don't know if they're ever going to give them back. All right. So mathing, which was not my strong suit to begin with, has become more difficult. That's why it's nice to have the calculator on the phone, I swear. All right. There's one cut for big bag. And then we'll cut the side. And I've been bringing in some scrunchies. I've been making them from other scraps that are like, they're just not quite the right size for needle stashers and notions pouches. And I think this is going to become that. I think it'll become some scrunchies. Or it might become cake cozies, or it might become, I don't know. It'll become something. Wristlets. Go. See. A nice piece there. Now this is a nice cotton dobby too, which is super awesome. And I don't know if you were here for the whole math is such a necessary evil. Don't know if you're here for the whole identity crisis about the fabric, but I was actually going to cut it this way, which doesn't look like it should be upside down, but it actually is because the raindrops are going the wrong direction. So I did catch that at least before I cut it. So there's big bags will be coming to my shop for the citrus. It's going in a bin underneath, and then I'm going to cut 2 small box bags from each of these fabrics. Scoot it on up here. So in general, what I'm doing right now is I'm cutting a large wholesale order for Paula of Bad Annos in that place that I go for Knit City, Vancouver. Oh my goodness. And so that's what I'm mostly working on. But what's happening is because basically she has helped me break the analysis paralysis of what I should end up cutting. I'm cutting also for Knit City right now. Math is a necessary evil, but that is also why I have 10 plates. And then so I'm just going to line it up and make sure. Yeah, we're good. Anyway, so it broke the seal on a lot of these fabrics, so I just cut them and get going instead of standing around being like, my precious, I don't want to cut it. Which doesn't happen too often, but it's just like one of those things. It's like you just need someone sometimes to make the decision for you. So I'm piggybacking my stuff onto hers and cutting a lot of my show stuff today as well. Because the city's not that far away, and I do not have anywhere near enough bags to fill my booth. So 39 to 46 is 7 inches. All right, so that's going to go into needles. This will go into needle stashers and notions pouches. Which means I need another bin. So I guess I'm going to be getting that after coffee. All right, let's cut another one. I actually need 2 bins because I need a small box bag for me bin. Because these are not for Paula, but that's her pile. All right, let's cut the Maneki Neko. So this is Maneki Neko. I did show off all these fabrics at the beginning, and I'm sorry if you missed that, but I will go through them now as I'm kind of working on stuff. Let's also do this one. It's another Dobby. It's Mount Fuji. And actually, all right. That's going to screw up my list, so let's just stick to the list. All right. So she's chosen these really cute bunnies on a natural and a sage and a navy. And I really like getting multiple colorways of a fabric because what ends up happening is it makes different things pop on each one. So like here, I really think that the bunnies pop. Sorry, the light is so bad. I didn't realize that there wasn't quite enough light coming through that section. So I'm going to I'll do something for next time I stream. Here though, the flowers pop and then the bunnies pop, which is really interesting. And then kind of on the navy, it's like these brown bunnies pop and then you can see the flowers in real life a lot better. But I always like seeing like different colorways of stuff because your attention gets drawn to different things. All right, now this was something I was probably going to end up having to cut. Oh, wait. No, we're supposed to do bees and strawberries. Sorry. Okay. Bees and strawberries. Bees and strawberries. Bees and strawberries. All right, I don't know. We'll trade you. Bees and strawberries. And Lucky Cats on Off-White. Okay, so the one that I was grabbing out, I must have it piled wrong then. And we want... Okay. So she made some really good selections. And then she's getting 3 different styles of bags. So she's getting a Kato, which is the drawstring bag with the nice square bottom. And then there's the large box bag, which is one of my oldest styles. And then there's the triangle pouch. And actually, the really cool thing that I did figure out with the Kato and the large box bag is that they're basically the same cut. So a lot of the time in the past, what I've done is I would cut and then I would end up with 2 large box bags and 2 small box bags. And of course, one would always hang out around for far longer than the other. Like one would sell right away and then the other would just languish and be all sad that it hadn't been sold. But now with the Kato, I can just cut the same thing. So what I mean by that there's 2 cuts is because I'm cutting on the fold, right? I end up with 2 large box bags, or large box bag cuts. But the Kato, I can eke out just enough to be able to actually do the Kato as well as the large box bag instead of having to make 2 cuts. So it's a lot more efficient with the fabric. It's a lot more efficient with my time not my time, but it is more efficient with my fabric than cutting 2 large box bags. All right, so I'm totally over the 1.5 limit, but I'm going to keep going for a bit longer because I see that there's a couple of you. And then I will go get coffee after that. Maybe I'll just get a second wind, which would be good too. All right, so we do the large box bag. And then we add on the handle width. So that's just easier. Like that. And then we'll cut another one here because that's the handle. And then the bag. Oh, that is crooked. That is quite crooked. There. All right. And then, so there's the 2 large box bag handles and 2, for both of them, it's actually 4 handles. So I'll cut small box bags, and that'll use at least 3 out of 4 handles because I haven't figured out what else to do with the back cut of the small box bag. And so we just make 2 small box bags. And yes, I am only doing exterior fabrics today because that's more interesting. I will be cutting all the interior fabrics and the interfacing on camera, just not live, because the exterior fabrics to me are just better. Realistically, I only have 2 different interior fabrics right now. It's the white and the beige. Although I will be adding some interesting fabrics when I do pockets for purses here. So that'll be a little bit later in the year, or at least after I get most of these ones cut and somewhat finished. Okay. So we've got the large box bags are cut, the Kato is cut, and then we need the triangle pouches, which are the offcuts with the knot bags. Make sure my selvage is mostly lined up. There we go. Oh, where'd my rubber cutter go? Just double check to make sure there's enough, just barely. So let's scooch this a little bit. There. Oh, no. Okay. I know for sure that I can get out of the bees and strawberries because I've done it in the past. Okay, and then how large is the selvage? Selvage on these isn't too bad. All right, that's because seriously, my critical thinking skills some days. All right, good enough. Scoop just a bit. So there's the triangle pouches that we need. Triangle, Kato, large, triangle. And now I've got knot bags. And then actually while I'm cutting these, I'm going to also cut the small box bags I want to make. And then I should also cut the big bag. Well, I think this Maneko, both of these fabrics need to become purses or wallets or something. So maybe we'll hold off on the big bag for now. We will, however, do the small box bag cut because it needs to be done. Okay. I say math is evil, and that's actually why, difficult right now, but that's actually why I have templates, is because when I was starting out, I would end up cutting like really, 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 really early days. Like I would say within the first 6 months of sewing or so. But I would always mix up which side my zipper was supposed to go on. And so doing the templates and actually writing on it where the zipper is supposed to go was super helpful. Life hacks as a sewist. And honestly, I just talked to my brother-in-law about cutting me some new templates because mine are cardstock or poster board, and it's worked really well for a really long time. But they are showing their age. Like I've accidentally cut stuff. I just accidentally cut my knot bag template today. All right, my pretties, you are going to become other stuff. So let's fold you up. All right, so I'm just working through the wholesale order for Paula of Bananas in Vancouver. Whenever I say it that way, I think of Robin Williams as the genie in Aladdin or something, like in the transformation scene. Bad boy. Which I know it's a sheep joke, but apparently I am in Disney mode today. All right. Oh, yeah, I am really, really off on what I'm supposed to be cutting next. Okay, sushi cats on natural, and then banana cats. Come here, my pretties. All right. So we need 2 sushi cat kato, 2 large box, and 3 triangle sushi cats. So I'm not going to be cutting 3 knot bags with triangle pouches in this case. I will just cut from the fabric. Although this would be an amazing exterior for a knot bag, so we might still do a knot bag if I've got enough. First, we will get through the main cuts. All right. And if you missed out on the sushi cat because it got sniped by Paula and other folk, well, first off, Paula usually posts her bags online, so make sure to check out our website. And then second off, I actually do have this coming in red and green, and I hope to have that done for Knit City. Okay, 2 kato, 2 large box bags. So I'll just do 2 large box bag cuts, and then I need the handles. Hey, I can even cut right between 2 lines. All right. Large box. Actually, that's the kato cut. There we go. And then this will be the large box cut. And we need to do the handle cut, which means we need to go to here for the handle. Oh, it's going to be close. Actually, not too bad. Could be worse. 20, 21. Cut. And this one needs to be cut. Okay, so that means I should probably do some small box bags to use up some of this fabric. Actually, this would make super cute needle stashers, so maybe we won't. Just make needle stashers from it instead. So I think I've got a small box bag cut out in the main area anyway. I need to go through and sort a bunch of stuff again. Okay, Kato large. We actually just moved this cutting table into this room this past week. That's partly why there hasn't been a lot of like work and stuff happening recently. Besides the fact that I just got back from Japan, there hasn't been a lot of work because I've been clearing off and clearing out this room. It's kind of the doom room for the past year. We moved last May, early May. And basically with the studio, all I did is I just went, okay, we got to get it good enough, like operational. I don't care. That's all we got to do is just get it working. And so that's what we did, which means that this just kind of became the dump room, or as I fondly called it, the doom room. All right. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll end up with 1. And then we can actually make some wristlets out of that. That would be super cute. Sweet. Anyway, so it was the doom room, blah, blah, blah. And we originally, why we didn't move the cutting table in here was we were like, okay, well, we actually have a guest room. Except that all our friends are allergic to cats. So they're not going to come stay with us because, well, and part of it is also they've got responsibilities in the city, blah, blah, blah. We live just outside of Calgary. So it's like a little bit inconvenient. They've got responsibilities like dogs and all that. And so I decided, I'm like, no, we got to free up a little bit more space in my main studio. Makes a lot more sense for this actually to be in here. This is where the fabrics are, and ideally I should fold up my fabric and put it back on the shelf after I'm done. Now, is that going to happen all the time? No. I'm actually just dumping it on the floor right now. But it will be a lot easier. It'll be one less step. But anyway, what was that about? Oh, because I'm still figuring out what I need to do in here for stuff and all the things. All right, let's just cut these down to triangle pouches so it's done. And oh, darn it. I screwed that up. All right, well, these will become notions pouches. I'm supposed to cut this before I cut them in half. Well, there's some cute notions pouches coming up. All right. Anyway, these will be triangle pouches, and they will also be adorable. Okay. And then what do you want to become, my pretty? You look like you need to become the upgraded version of wedge bags. Okay. If you've been following me for a while, you will know that I did used to do wedge bags. And then everyone started doing wedge bags. So I actually stepped back from it. And but I've been having a lot of requests for wedge bags recently. These are banana cats. Banana cats. Anyway, a bunch of people have been asking for wedge bags again, so I'm going to be bringing them back just in a bit different, with some upgrades. There we go. That's what I was going for. All right. So we need a Kato, 2 large box bags, and a triangle pouch. I was trying to talk at the same time as I was trying to figure out what I actually needed to cut, so that did not go well for anyone. There's a lot of fabric here, so we're good. So I think in this case we're going to cut, since we need 2 large box bags, I'm going to do a 2 cut for Kato. And I have a Kato and she has a Kato. 1 for you, 1 for me. And then we'll cut the knot bag, and then we'll cut some small box bags, and etc. I do think this really does need to become a big bag as well. So maybe we'll cut that first. And then, because I've got yellow webbing, and the yellow webbing would look freaking fantastic with this. All right, what happened here? Apparently when I was ironing it, it did not like it. All right, let's just cut from this end then. This end is better behaved. There we go. Or not. My goodness, past Katie, what were you doing? There's giant wrinkles. Oh my goodness. Okay, that needs to be re-ironed before I can cut it. All right, so Banana Cats needs to be recut or re-ironed. I'll make that note. All right. This is page 2. This is page 1. Okay, this is 3. Apologies, a really big order, so it's been a little bit of a management thing trying to figure out what we need. All right, so we're on to the woodland bunnies. These guys. I think, given the cuts I need to do, we're going to cut these separately because they're all slightly different. All of them need 3, and then the natural needs 2, 2, and 3. Okay. So let's do this one because it's kind of the oddball out of the 3 fabrics. Okay, so we are going to follow what I was talking about with the Banana Cats, just with the bunnies instead, because apparently I ironed the bunnies better than I ironed the Banana Cats, that's for sure. Actually, I got a new Banana Cat fabric when I was there in May, and it's so fun. It is so fun. It's got it's got Banana Cats, but then the print is really busy, and it's like basically this banana cat that was on this fabric that I just had, but he's surrounded by fruit. It's so good. If I knew where it was in my pile, I would get it out for you, but I don't. So that was actually what was supposed to go up today. Was I was initially planning that I should have the rest of the fabric preview from Kyoto up. That's the Kato cut, yeah. And then it didn't happen, in part because the kids got me sick again. They're in out of home childcare, and I swear I don't know when we haven't been sick this year. It's been so bad. Okay, there we go. But anyway, so my voice is back to normal, but it was not back to normal, and my throat was really sore the past few days, so I just did not. I checked out on the voiceovering that I would need to do for Kyoto fabric haul, and decided to do this instead. So I am hoping to have the Kyoto fabric haul done probably for next week, and then I will probably try and get on a live, hopefully next weekend maybe. My husband is home and he can watch the kids, although if not, I will definitely get on the Friday again as well. I just know this is an awkward time given that people are typically working, but my husband works out of town half the time, and this is when my kids are in childcare because it's really hard to do a live video with 2 toddlers around. All right, it's the box bag. Oh, these are going to be so good. So good. All right. Get out of here. All right, so we cut the Kato and we cut the large box, and then we need to do the triangle pouches. So what I'm going to do, what I should have done on the other one with the sushi cat, is cut a knot bag and then cut a back-to-back triangle pouch. Oh, live and learn, live and think. Give myself some time to think about it sometimes, and I figure out new ways to do stuff. Sometimes it's worse. Sometimes it's way better. But this is going to be too good a knot bag, I think, right? I don't want to do a knot bag of it. Might want to do just the triangle cuts. Because if I did the triangle cuts, we could get the wristlet out of it. Remembering that I have to cut that before I cut them in half. And then we could do... Yeah, because they would take up less room than the knot bags. And then we would end up having enough room to do a big bag out of this. I think that's the better option. All right. So 1, 2, right? Because we need 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Measure it out just to make sure. That is way too much fabric. There we go. That's better. And we're gonna go cut here. Did I cut the handles for this? I did. Okay, good. Just make sure that my math was mathing. And then I'm gonna turn this. All right, and I am definitely going to cut this off at 2 hours because this is going to be a massive amount for people to watch anyway. And I do still really want that coffee. There we go. That is successful because now that could actually be another triangle pouch. Oh no. Still had to cut it that way. I don't need 2 triangle pouches myself. So that's going to be wristlets. Because I can actually get, I think, 2 wristlets out of it. Yeah, that can be 2 wristlets. Okay. Go. So there's 3 and 4 triangle pouches. 3 for Paula, 1 for me. And then whatever we're going to do with this. It might be small box bags. It might be, I think that would make adorable purses and wallets as well. We'll figure that out. So that's one of those ones that gets folded up. And we will put it back on the shelf here afterwards. All right, let's do the sage guy. These guys need 3, 3, and 3. Okay, so it's going to be 3 cuts for the large box bag size. Yeah, okay. Actually, knowing that, I should have done the knot bag of the other one. Actually, this for some reason feels more like a knot bag. So, and because they're matched, the navy and the sage are the same number of bags. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Okay, we'll do both of these at the same time, so I don't have to math as much. Okay, so in this case, we're going to cut 3 large box bag cuts for each of these, because then I can get the kato out of the back side of the box bag cut, front side of the box bag cut, whatever. They fit in the same spot, give or take a little bit. Actually, give a little bit. It actually makes it a little bit larger exterior fabric, so that's fine. Prefer that over having large box bags laying around. And the kato have been extremely popular, which thank you. The kato are actually a huge coup for me because I ended up when I first started sewing project bags, it was a project bag shape that I wanted to do. However, we should make sure that we've got enough to actually do 3 cuts. So 1. Anyway, so the kato was a style I wanted to do. However, I could not, for the life of me, do the style of lining that is in the kato. My skills were just not there yet. So instead, I just didn't. I waited I waited a decade. It actually took me 10 years of sewing to finally be like, okay, I want to do this again. Okay. 1, 2. Okay, we're good. Anyway, so it took me 10 years to figure out that I could actually do it. My skills improved in that time. I could not do it at the beginning, but they are a coup because they were something that I originally wanted to do, could not, came back to last summer, and hey, look at where we are now, and they've been super popular. So it's been really cool to have that feedback of something that took me so long to develop my skills on as well. All right, we're good. Now I need to fold it back up so that I can actually cut. All right, come here, my pretties. We could cut you like this. There we go. So there's, just scoot this down a little bit. There we go. There we go. Good, good. Okay, so there's 2 and 2. And then we're just going to actually take the scissors and cut it in half. Super technical here, guys. But these are all handmade, so if there's little variances in them, it happens, unfortunately. Well, maybe fortunately. I think fortunately. I need to go get my scissors sharpened. They are struggling and they should not. Holy hell, I guess it's like 4 layers of cotton linen blend, and it's not like cotton linen blend either. All right. 1, 2, 1, 2. One more cut and the handles. Okay, actually the sage needs to be moved out of it. I see people are still popping in and out. If you are the same people, thanks for sticking around. If you're new, I am currently cutting a wholesale order for Paula of Bad Anna's in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. All my bags are made from hand-selected Japanese fabrics that I go over and pick out myself in Kyoto and Tokyo. At this point, I used to have a really good shop in Osaka. It was a really fun shop. But unfortunately, they have actually closed recently. However, I'm still going to tell you about this shop because it was so good. It was like 3 floors of fabric. 3? Yeah, and I think like the building itself was 5 floors. That sounds about right. And what you would do is you would go around and you'd select all your fabrics, and you'd go around with a salesperson, and they would actually take clippings of all these fabrics that you selected, and give you a clipping and take a clipping and attach it to like basically their little receipt thing. And it was a pneumatic tube system shop. So what would happen is they would send up your clipping to the cutting floors. There's a pneumatic tube shop or pneumatic tube system. And when it was all done cutting, it would drop down behind the cashier, and there you go. There's your fabric. It was super cool. I loved that shop. And apparently it had been around for like decades. But yeah, they're no longer there. Some sort of generic white monstrosity now. But the shops that I go to in Kyoto and Tokyo are really cool. In Kyoto, it's a 3-floor shop. It's right in like one of the main thoroughfares in Kyoto. And they're really good. Honestly, it was super cool. So I always ask permission if I can like film, of course. It's not cool if they don't want to be filmed, blah, blah, blah. And they've been really good about it in Kyoto. The shop I go to in Tokyo, which is Tomato in Nippori Fabric Town, just flat out says it's like, go ahead and film. It's fine. So I just do. But in Nomura, I've asked if I could film them. They've been fine with it. And the really cool thing was when I was there in May, the woman cutting the fabric was the same woman that I had had in November, and she remembered me, which is like so cool. It was so cool to be recognized that way. So yeah, that was super awesome. I really liked that. She mostly remembered me because the freaking receipt in November was I think it was as tall as me. I'm 5'8". I am not short. That's about 173 centimeters. She is not short. And yeah, it was taller than both of us, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, it was really cool though, because I was like, I looked at her and I'm like, I think she was the one who cut my fabric in November. I even told Caroline that. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that was the woman who cut my fabric in November. And then she's like, were you here in November? Or like last year? And I'm like, yes, that was me. And then we had this moment. And then the guy that was actually picking my fabrics had also been there in November. He shut down the idea of taking a photo of the receipt because I swear, so they close at 7. I ended up showing up at Nomura around, I think I showed up there for them to actually cut my fabric at 6 o'clock. They got me out of there with 85 pounds of fabric, guys, by 7:02. They literally closed the rolling door behind me as I was like struggling with my luggage. That's not a slight against them, but I did not realize that I had purchased 85 pounds of fabric there. So I went and got a taxi because I knew it was too much to take on the subway. I also had time constraints, so I had to get to the station for my train. Blah blah blah. I had to pick up my luggage at the train. All of that fun stuff, and yeah, I was cursing my luggage so much. I was like, oh my gosh, you are just cheap. And I'm like, what? Why? It was quite an adventure. November's trip, I wish, having been back in May, I wish I had been able to take a little bit better advantage of being there in November, because November was nice and quiet, and I doubt I will ever see it that quiet again. But May was so busy. It was a really good trip. But it is the busiest I have ever seen Japan, hands down. Part of that was actually, it was a lot of school children on domestic travel, which was really interesting. I haven't seen that many kids doing that much travel in Japan before. Okay, I'm at the point where I may as well just finish. There's 1, 2, 3, there's like 8 more fabrics to cut, so let's do this. This is really cool Dobby fabric. So the Dobby fabrics, when I refer to them, are fabrics that have a slubby warp and weft. This is Dobby fabric. I don't know if that is actually the technical name for it, or if I'm just making that up. I am making that up, but I think it is the technical name for it. If I am wrong, please correct me either in the live chat or in the comments below this video. All right, so let's cut these 3 together because I think they're all the same. Done, 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 done. Oh, that's page 3. Okay, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Right. So Mount Fuji on the Dobby, Sand Dobby. And then we've got the Maiko in Kyoto. I don't actually know if they're in Kyoto. Oh, maybe. I don't know. I just say that they're in Kyoto because that's the only place that I've ever seen Maiko is in Kyoto. Oh, yeah. So anyway, the whole luggage story from November. Sorry. Totally got distracted by having to move on to the next cuts. But the luggage that I used in November was new and it was cheap. It was on sale. But I bought it because it's some of the lightest luggage you can get on the market. And when you are going over specifically and weight is your biggest constraint, you get your luggage as light as it can be. I think my heaviest piece of luggage is actually the backpack. And it only weighs about 9 pounds because it's a trekking backpack. So they don't want them to be that heavy. Obviously, you want, again, your biggest limitation with backpacking and for hiking backpacking is weight. So anyway, it's like an 8-pound suit. The largest suitcase is like 8.8 pounds or something for this set. It's a Hayes suitcase. But my goodness, was I swearing at it as I was like lugging it through Kyoto Station and like picking up luggage and trying to figure out the elevator because there was no way I was putting that on the freaking escalator. So now I know where the elevator is in Kyoto Station, which is good. It's good knowledge to have anyway. And then the other insane coincidence was actually when I was getting on the elevator to go up to the bullet train platform. A woman who had been at Nomura getting fabric cut recognized me and was like, "Oh, you're the girl who came out with fabric cut." I'm like, "Yep, yes, I was." How, like, you always think it's like, well, I'll never run into these people again, blah, blah, blah. Just my luck. That's okay. I could have worse luck. Honestly, that's just funny luck. Okay, let's see. Line you up with the snow caps. But yeah, it was a really good trip. I do wish, like I said, that I'd been able to take a little bit better advantage of it. But what ended up happening is basically Japan opened. My husband and I had agreement. It's like basically I go on a week that he's home so that he can take care of the kids. So it had to happen in the 6 days that he was home. So I left on Tuesday morning as early as, well, at like about 7 was my flight. So I had to drop my kids off with my mother-in-law. She took care of them for the day because my husband didn't get into town until about 4. But like I left. He came in. I got to Japan. I did 4.5 days on the ground and then came home. It was a whirlwind trip, but I didn't have any more time either. Like there was no flexibility in being able to actually do that. Now, if you'd had vacation time left, I think we would have probably all gone. The original plan was, because my eldest was born in 2020, it was actually to go in November when she turned, when she was about like November. She would have been like 6 months old, I guess. So I was thinking like 10 months old in there. But obviously that didn't happen for very good reasons. But no, Japan reopened in October 11th, and I was literally just waiting for the announcement. Hello. Okay. I think we'll cut from the other end because I got a little bit of... Actually, no, the not bag will be fine there. Okay. Yeah, so I booked my flight basically as the weekend of... I had to double check with my mother-in-law if she'd be able to look after the kids, and then I booked my flight basically. Well, 3 days after they reopened or announced the reopening. They weren't even open yet. Oh, good. Okay. That puts that right in the middle of that. And it was definitely in that situation. There was a lot of people there, surprisingly, actually, but I think it was mostly people who had been the same as me, just kind of pushing their travel forward as waiting for things to happen. So... edges need to be lined up, and then we'll cut them for the triangle pouches. But the next trip, I was watching to kind of see what the average age of the children were there right now, and it just dropped significantly. So I think the next trip, it'll be a family trip. We're just trying to figure out when exactly that'll be, given how everything's going. I think it's at least 2.5 years from now. But the exciting thing that has changed, so Air Canada used to do a direct flight in and out of Calgary to Tokyo, and then obviously dropped it for good reason. Again, can't blame them. But they haven't made any indication that they're going to pick it back up. And the best part about the flight from Calgary to Tokyo was they would do a 2-3-2 split. It was a really nice plane. One of my favorites in the fleet. And they haven't made any indication that they're going to be coming back and doing that again, and that's fine. But thankfully, WestJet actually picked it up, and so we can fly direct from Calgary to Tokyo again with WestJet. I actually had to change my whole credit card reward system so that we could take advantage of that. But it's working out because we do end up flying down to Disney World quite a bit, and with the companion vouchers for that, it's a good deal. Yeah, some of these fabrics, the selvage or the width is just not quite enough. Okay. This one, what the heck? Well, okay, let's see. Okay, just enough, barely. You're just gonna have to be cut creatively, and you are going in the knot bag bin. All right, what else are we gonna cut out of these? I think we should cut the small box bags on here, and then I'll figure out the rest of what I want to do with this fabric later. So I'm piggybacking my Knit City prep onto cutting these fabrics for Paula, and some pick your own orders that came in as well. But I am getting to the point where I definitely do need to take a break. But I'm super close to the end, so we're gonna power through and finish up before I take that break. Because I know once I do, it'll be really hard to get back to this. And I also don't want to be slurping coffee on camera. That's just rude. Although I'm going to mute my mic and get some water here. One moment. All right, there we go. Okay, so we were at triangle pouches. So we've got all of Paula's cut. What did I cut? I did Mount Fuji. We did the Maiko. We did the macaron critters on gray. All right, now we got to go into all of these. We did that Kato as well. And that triangle. So we're going to do small box bags from this, and then, yeah, I'll figure out what I'm going to do. I think this, again, I think the macaron critters needs to become some wallets, and I think the Mount Fuji needs to become some new things. I'm going to be upgrading the wedge bag this year, and so I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And some of these fabrics can become the wedge bag. I kind of stepped back from wedge bags because it seemed like everyone was doing them, and honestly, the knot bag was really popular for a while. Now the knot bag has waned a little bit in popularity, so I think bringing a wedge bag back would be good. Now, this is all based on the old fabrics too, so like the fact that I have new fabrics might be better as well. Which is part of the reason why I don't want to wait too long between trips either, because the more excited I am about fabrics, I'm always more excited about new fabrics. Yeah. So there's small box bags, Mount Fuji, the Maiko on blue, and the macaron critters. Now, that will create two small box bags. I typically do just cut it that way and then make two small box bags. Probably should figure out what I should do with the other cut instead of just making two box bags. But that is a problem for future Katie. All right, so Mount Fuji is going to get folded up and put back on the shelf. Same as the Maiko. Great, that is not a directional print. It just looks directional because it's so straight. There we go. Nice. Crisp. Oh yeah, and I've got to actually iron some fabric because apparently past Katie did not iron it very well. Oh, what are you gonna do? There's actually been a really cool pattern come out recently. They call it the spring roll pouch. And I think that might be really fun, although I don't know how much work it is. So it's always a balancing game between like how much work it is and like if I think it's gonna sell actually. Okay, so these ones I had to modify the quantity because we had less fabric than what was requested. So let's do them at the end. And then I don't think I modified the yellow coral. Yellow's fine. Lime was fine. No, lime was adjusted as well to 1 instead of 2. And the Danube blue was also adjusted to 1 instead of 2. Okay. So we'll start with the yellow. I see. Okay, I thought I'd cut the yellow fabric, but apparently not. That's fine. That's good. That means that I had enough for the wholesale order. All right, we're down to the last of the fabric cutting today. Because I will have to iron off camera and then I will cut that off camera. Well, off live stream at least. Because we are pushing 2.25 hours right now. And so that'll be a lot of video for people to watch later. All right. Oh, you might need a new iron too. What happened here? Hello. There. Even you out up top. There we go. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, well maybe we'll cut from the other end. Sometimes that just helps make it behave. Nope. Okay, it needs to be ironed as well. That's the only way to fix that one. All right, black polka dots. Please tell me you have behaved yourself. Not really. Ugh, Katie. Past Katie, what were you doing? Okay, that's good enough. Doesn't have a massive wrinkle on the one side. Just won't make it even. And this is such a print. It's a print that has to be mostly even because of the like it's so horizontal. So sewing a large box bag where it goes woo just does not look good. All right, there we go. Plus it's good enough. And when I individually cut it, I just won't cut it along the fold on these ones. Just remember. Okay. Actually, let's make a note of that so I don't forget. Do not cut on fold. Of course, my pen dies. Do not cut on fold. Cut individually. Okay. So there's the Kato cuts. Go. So we need 2 Kato. And we need 2 large box bags and their handles. Now let's try and even this out again. High. That's annoying. Mostly annoying on this one at least. No, I don't think it's actually going to affect it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, look at that. Come on, my pretty. Actually, stick this down here. That'll help. There we go. So we're going to do the Kato cut next. 2 Kato bags. Or no, so that's the Kato. We're going to do 2 large box bags and their handles. There we go. Evened up again. And then let's even this up with an actual measure line. It's easier to cut handles. There we go. Ha! Success. Mostly. There. Okay, now measure down to the handles. Haha. Success. I need to change my rotary blade after this. I've seen people cut like this with their rotary blades, and I'm not 100% sure how that works. I always cut with it like a pan. I feel like I would slip and cut myself way easier that way. Let's move that so I don't cut them. Okay, so there's the 2 Kato and the 2 large box bags. Cut. Kato, 2 large box bags, and then I need 2 triangle pouches. So I think we'll just do a new cut, and then that'll leave me enough to actually do stuff for the shop with this one. Ooh. Yeah, that's a real big wander off. What was I doing? My goodness. Okay, let's refold that. Ew. Okay. Let's just do a nice shuffle here. There we go. That's a little bit better at least. Yeah, there we go. Whew. Right. So how much is left of the fabric? We got 22 to 56. So we got 34 inches of fabric. So triangle pouch. And then I think a luxe tote bag. This would look really good as a luxe tote bag. I'm not going to cut that today because I will think on that, but we will do the triangle pouches because obviously we need to. We need to. So these are going to be friggin' adorable. Yeah, and I don't want it as a knot bag. Not enough fabric for that. Let's just go. Good. Actually, I might also, I keep thinking about this rotary blade, but I think it might also be the cutting mat. Secondhand, it's $20. So like these cutting mats that are like this size are quite expensive. And I did not want to take the money to invest in it at the time. And when it came up on Facebook Marketplace, but it's obviously been well used. So I think it might be time to actually replace my cutting mat. So I stopped getting so many skipped threads. Okay, so that was the black. So let's do the coral. And then we'll do the green, the lime green, and the Danube blue. And then I am going to head out. Apparently, past Katie didn't iron very well at all. Actually, that's black. Okay, let me know if anyone is still listening. Would you prefer to see that penguin fabric as a big bag or a couple Kato bags so that you could actually have a couple options available? Let me know either in the live chat right now Or if you're watching this video after today, if in the comments, I would really appreciate it. It might be better to make a couple bags out of that. It's such a good fabric, so I don't want to yeah. All right. I think a couple Kato bags, because it would look really good with like the black canvas, black leather, and then rainbow D-rings, actually, because the rainbow D-rings would complement the throat decorations that the penguins have. Kato. Should have gotten more of these. Oh well. Actually, yeah, that's probably the best option, because I know that Caroline from Ancient Arts Yarns was saying that she wants some penguin bags. So if I was to make a couple Kato, it would be a one for you, one for me situation, and she could have one, and I could have one for my shop as well. So I think that's the best option. This is our stream of consciousness thing that happens if I don't have direction. Large box bag cut, and then we'll also do the handle on this one from this end. So let's line that up there. Line it up here. And we're going to line it up down here to actually make the handles like that. Yep. Sweet. Okay, so there's the Kato and the large box bag cuts made. Now the Kato do have a pretty intense interior cutting because they actually do have pockets. The large box bag does not, so it's just a lining and interfacing cut. The Kato, I will have to actually go through and cut interiors, pockets, and interfacing. That also has to be actually adhered because it's fusible interfacing, and it makes sense because it does make the bag far easier to sew with fusible interfacing. Oh man, these penguins though. I don't know why I only got, well, okay, never mind, I do. I keep saying I don't know why I only bought so much, but the problem is it's luggage. Luggage only has so much room. And I didn't end up getting the penguins until I got to Kyoto, when I'd already done, like, Kyoto was my final stop. And so, like, I was more constrained for room because I had already done Tokyo. Now, I think if I do this in future, no, Kyoto was my first stop. This was November. May we did tomato first in Tokyo. This still needs a good iron before I can use it, but I can at least cut it. Okay, so where I was at, we need triangle pouches. Triangles. And then same situation here. Do we want Kato or do we want one large box, like one big bag? Actually, what would I be left with if I 22, so there's 26 inches of fabric. So I could do a big bag and a triangle pouch combo, or I could do 2 Kato bags and a bunch of small accessories. I could do a small box bag, actually quite a few small box bags, and some triangle bags. Some options there. Excuse me. Now that obviously will become a notions pouch or something like that. All right, last 2 fabrics because the others need to be ironed. So we're going to do, these ones had to be modified because I didn't have enough left. So we're going to be doing 1 large box bag and 1 Kato, so it's 1 large box bag cut, because I already have, we're going to end up making 2 Kato, but the I already have a Kato cut from when I was using this fabric earlier this year. Which actually means that I should theoretically have handles cut already. So we're going to go with I have handles cut already. So we're just going to cut this like this. And then we're going to go like that. Change out my blade. Need to change it out after this. All right, now we're going to do the triangle pouches. What's this? There we go. Good enough. Okay, right here. All right, and then I've got enough for a couple small box bags in here. Yes, small box bags. All right, this is the last cut, guys. I hope you've enjoyed joining me. I've enjoyed chatting with you guys. Thank you for helping keep me on track. Sometimes that is one of the worst things. I actually noticed as I've been recording more of my work process that I don't use my phone as much, which means I'm actually more efficient. But the lives are really fun, really good for keeping me on track because I don't have a choice. I did cut that right? Okay, good. Actually, I'm going to cut this last one just on the end here. If you're joining me after the live stream, I have been trying to live stream on Fridays when my kiddos are in out-of-home childcare because it's really hard to live stream with kids in the house. And yeah, so if I'm not back next week, you can actually sign up for my newsletter. That is where I will be making announcements about the lives. Please subscribe to the channel. That is actually the best way to see the videos that aren't live. And I hope to chat with you all soon. Thank you so much for joining me and have a fantastic weekend. Bye.